I'm Timothy Gassen. They call me the AZ Puck Man. I've been following hockey at the University of Arizona for more than 30 years. And this is my Wildcat Hockey Report. Welcome to the Wildcat Hockey Report. I'm Timothy Gassen. I'm joined by the head coach of the Wildcats. This is Chad Berman. Coach, it's kind of hard to believe, but you're about to start your 5th year as the head coach of the Arizona Wildcats. Can you give Wildcat fans a little bit of a sense of the state of the program? Where do the Wildcats stand now here as you get ready to start your 5th year as head coach?
Yeah, I think if you look back over the past 4 years, it's been a steady trajectory in the positive direction, and I think this year is no different. I'm personally really excited. Obviously, the prior regime is responsible for kind of passing the baton and getting us to where we are, but I'm certainly excited for this being my first year of a locker room full of guys that we've recruited that fit the cultural expectations and the work ethic that we demand to get to where we want to be. So, we're really incredibly excited about what we're doing and where we're going, and all indication from the workout are it just has a very different feel amongst it. So all the intangibles so far have checked the boxes.
Now, last season was one of the best in recent memory for the Wildcats. You not only won the Cactus Cup, that's the year-long series against Arizona State. You qualified for the national tournament, won a game in the national tournament, and then played very well against number one ranked Minot State. Do you have any expectations for this year? Every year is different with the squad, and you have different players. Do you have any expectations for this year of Wildcat hockey?
Well, I certainly have. We've got 3 goals set out that we're going to talk about here as we get things moving forward as a team. Always have goals set. I kind of learned a few years ago that expectations are useless. I learned that you just don't know until you put it together. So I'm not going to set expectations on tangible things that we want to achieve. I certainly have high expectations for our group as far as things that we think we can accomplish. But my job is to take it week to week and hopefully improve them week to week. And so that's the way we'll approach this season.
Well, you're absolutely right. You never know until you start playing how your new players are going to mesh, how your returning players are going to play. But okay, let's not use the word expectations then. Do you have a couple goals outside of the obvious ones? You want to win your conference, you want to make it to the national tournament. I think we want to win another national championship too. Are there some smaller goals within that you teach your team as the season goes on that you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I think when you set goals, they have to be done appropriately. I was doing the rankings last week, and I was asked to rank 1 through 25, and I can legitimately make a case for 17 teams being top 10 teams this year. I think when you look at the rankings, the 8 through 17 teams, they've all improved. Everybody's added to their roster. Missouri State's got a lot of kids coming back. So I think it's going to be a heck of a race, and it's another good sign of how far this league's come and how deep it's become. But certainly we set goals, and when I set goals, those goals are things we want to accomplish, but really it's the checkpoints about how to get there. And so first and foremost, our number one goal always will be to win the Cactus Cup here, and that's going to be number 1 on the list. Number 2 on the list is we want to take a run at finishing as a top 10 team in the country. And number 3, we want to win a conference. We think we've come far enough that we can start shooting for something bigger here, and we want to bring home a championship that hasn't been done here in a long time, or in conference standings never done here. So again, when you set those goals, to me, when you say something like we want to be a top 10 team, I've seen Missouri State say that publicly and other teams as well. It really is, to me, is on how you approach that. It's not, hey, it's not an expectation, it's a goal, an objective to accomplish. And if you're going to be a top 10 team, that requires a large amount of consistency. The only way to be consistent is to set that tone in practice on a daily basis. So sure, we're going to put on board there, yeah, we want to win the conference, or we want to be in the top 10. But what we're going to talk about, what we're going to focus on is drill to drill, what we're doing, why we're doing it, why we're improving it. And if we take that approach, I'm a big believer those little things will add up, and we'll be pretty happy with where we end up.
Now, coming up is one of the most exciting times for a hockey team. That's the opening weekend here at the Tucson Arena, September 28th and 29th against rival Arizona State. Can you talk about not only how exciting it is to have the home opener, but opening at home against Arizona State?
I mean, we'd have fun playing them in Thummore. So obviously a home opener is already exciting. Guys are going to be excited to get moving, but then you play your rivals across town here. I know they got a new coaching staff. They're excited about their changes, and I hope so. I think it's better for the league and the conference if they improve as well. And, those games are always competitive no matter where the two teams are ranked. So no love lost there. We're certainly looking forward to welcoming them with open arms in here, and hopefully we send them packing not very happy.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the start of your 5th season as the head coach of the Wildcats. We look forward to seeing you and the Wildcats September 28th and 29th versus ASU. That'll do it for this part of the Wildcat Hockey Report. Let's throw it over to the Jackson Peters, and he's going to talk to one of our favorite other Wildcats.
Thanks, Tim. I'm Jackson Peters, and I'm joined here by sophomore Anthony Cusinelli. Now, Anthony, you were recently named captain of this team this year. What does being captain in this organization mean to you, and how do you plan on fulfilling the goals as captain this year?
Yeah, it's a huge honor to begin with. I think Ryan Olson did a great job last year of leading us, so I definitely have big shoes to fill off the start. So I'm just going to try to lead by example and do the best I can to make sure we're going in the right position.
So you mentioned Orion Olson, the captain from last year. Is he someone you look at as an example of the captain you want to be, or is there someone else you're kind of looking at for advice in a way?
Yeah, Orion did a great job off the bat of making sure everyone is comfortable, and he was the perfect captain in my eyes. I mean, our assistant captains are great too, so if I have questions, I know I got plenty of guys to reach out to, whether it's Orion or Zelmer or Osmond. Any of those guys were great examples and guys I look to model my captaincy after.
So, Anthony, you won a handful of awards last year, including the ACHA Rookie of the Year. You know, when teams come to play here, or when you go in to play there, you're not going to be sneaking past them anymore like you might have been able to get away with last year. How do you think that's going to affect your game this year when you go to another team's building, when they come here, they're going to be looking for you to make the play?
Yeah, for me personally, not much will change. I think I'm going to have the same game as I had last year, but I also think we have enough firepower up front where if guys are targeting me, we have enough forwards up front that can kind of score when they need to. It doesn't have to fall on my shoulders all the time.
So you mentioned the inevitable of what we're looking at is the national tournament in Texas in March. What are you guys going to try and do this year? What do you think you can do as a captain? What are you going to look for in the rest of your teammates to do to make that goal possible?
Yeah, like I said, leading by example is a big thing for me, and I think we have a good mix of guys this year. I think our young guys are going to set the tone right away for us, and even bringing in new guys like Bailey Marshall, we got one of the best forwards in the conference joining our team. So I think the firepower is there as long as we work hard and stick to our game plan. I think we'll be fine when the Nationals come in March.
So you mentioned how you have a lot of new guys coming in and some, players from this conference. How do you think those guys are going to affect this season as compared to last season when there are half the team was new guys? Do you think it'll be a similar start, or are you guys looking to, get right out there?
Yeah, I think we're definitely a young team again, but we have way more experience under our belt. I think we had 15 or so new guys last year and still 9 or 10 this year. So it's going to take a little while, but I think we have some veteran guys who will step up this year, second-year guys, and I know the younger guys will feel comfortable right off the start, so we should be okay.
Great. So as we look at, what you did last year as a freshman, you're the captain now. How do you think this inevitable attention that you're going to get, because whether you like it or not, you're going to get some attention for all the things you've done last year. How do you think that's going to affect you and potentially your season this year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about it. I don't think much will change in my game plan. If we have to move lines around, we will, but I'm not too worried about that. We'll be fine.
That'll conclude this edition of the Wildcat Hockey Report. Thank you for joining us, Anthony. We hope everyone can join us here at the TCC on September 28th and 29th as the University of Arizona Wildcats take on the Arizona State University Sun Devils.